an absolute shift in your life that
Yeah.
took place, put you in a whole other scenario. See, to me, like you said, getting back, you'll never get back. There is no going back. There's only going forward now,
Yeah.
because you have been forever changed through this experience.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how you dealt with the fear factor of that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
alone, not knowing what's going on, because suddenly now you're in your body, but your body isn't what you thought it was. It's now a strange, unfamiliar place. And not to be able to walk. Oh, I'm like, how did you keep yourself from, having a panic attack that never stopped?
I did have quite a bit of anxiety. I mean, another reason other than the pain, physical pain, was,
Oh,
well, my sleep was feeling quite anxious, and obviously, as you're describing, it's understandable, right? I mean, it was such a devastating change, and I was so worried about my family. That was difficult. I mean, but yeah, I mean, the physical therapists really help. I mean, they're amazing. They have an amazing physical PT team at Weill Cornell, and I mean, I'm not the most physically fit guy at the moment, but for many years of my adult life, I was, I even did some triathlon training where we raised money for blood cancer and stuff in exchange for training for races. So I did do a lot of rigorous training as a younger guy, and so, I mean, that when I was doing PT, I had that mindset. I had the ability to, like, when they were teaching me, and again, this isn't just learning how to do some fancy schmancy move in the gym. This is like learning how to walk again, right? But I really feel like I'm fortunate to have like a relationship with my body and especially from playing as well, where I understand the relationship between my mind and my body, and especially with professionals who were so supportive. I went pretty quickly from being in a walker to being using a cane, and they could help me walk up some stairs. I mean, it's funny. This PT who was like this little stick, but she was strong as hell. She would grab me by the back of my pants and pull me up and help me walk up stairs. I would be holding onto the rails. Come on, Peter, you got this. And like, imagine this great lady's like pulling me up by the pants, and I'm holding onto the rails. I'm not going to fall, right? No, keep going. So it was wild. It was wild.
You survived this, and of course, I've read about this syndrome, and I won't go into my own issues with having had COVID before they diagnosed COVID and told everybody, about it.
Right.
I had a similar where I couldn't walk, the whole thing. It lasted for weeks, but
amazing.
I mean, even at that particular time, though, it was hard to get.
This would be a tough one.
Yeah, it was tough.
Little sidebar to say that, every day in the hospital, they tested my lungs because, thank God, although there was some delay, right? Because Lenox Hill misdiagnosed me and sent me on my way. Thank God I got to the hospital when I did. But when GBS gets in your lungs, it's like 50-50, you're going to live or die, and I had to blow into that machine where you can see how you change the meter, and it had never gotten into my lungs. So God bless that I never really. This can be a fatal illness to many people, and it never went there.
So does it go away, or does it stay with you as part of your reality now?
So here's what I understand. Well, first of all, I would say that my acute rehab doctors were very supportive and positive. Oh, Peter, you're doing great. You're going to get over this, and most people get over this. And so that was great to hear at the time. And I have to say that, although my neurologist has a brilliant reputation for being a brilliant neurologist, very thorough, very serious, his outlook on meeting me was like, I was walking in the door, all unicorns and rainbows. Hey, I'm going to get over this. And I got Dr. Chowdhury and Dr. Singh saying, man, Peter, you're amazing. And you did so well. And he's like walking into this guy's office, and he's like, okay, I don't know what kind of neuropathy you have. There's 4 types. I don't know if it's acute or chronic. I don't even know that you have GBS. I have to test you for all these things under the sun. And, if you have GBS and you have really bad symptoms, it could take 2 years to recover. Some people never recover. So that's the first thing he dropped on my plate when I walked in the door. And I was just like, but I mean, but in a strange way. Listen, this guy tested my blood for metals, for Lyme disease, for like everything under the sun. So
Mm.
God bless him. I mean, he was very serious. I mean, he wasn't just a Debbie Downer. I mean, he was a guy who was like turning over all the stones, you know. And he did diagnose me with acute demyelinating neuropathy. So I
Mm.
know exactly what kind of effect, you know, I'm having and feeling, symptom. And then he also said, yes, it's definitely GBS. It's not some other random autoimmune disease or
Mhm.
other thing. And then, you know, unfortunately, after getting an EMG, which is like the shock test, right? They put it on your hands and your legs if you have neuropathy, and they see how deep and far the damage goes. And unfortunately, the results are that I have severe nerve damage. So, and that was another crash and burn moment. But he said, at my suggestion, I said, hey, well, when he went off on his speech about that, I said, is there anything you can tell a guy who's been playing guitar for 40 years that might be a little more hopeful? And he said, oh, yeah, well, you know, given your nerve damage, your recovery rate is remarkable, as I said earlier. So, or may have, I think I said that earlier. So,
Yeah, you
yeah,
did. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, and listen, I mean, I can't, even my neighbors, you know, I have this really supportive group of neighbors who we all share a little backyard in our building together. And, you know, they went from seeing me hobbling in a walker to hobbling with a cane, and then feeling more confident with a cane, and now even walking without a cane. And now I'm sitting outside playing my guitar, slow arpeggios and scales, you know. So
Yes.
what it says on paper is like, yeah, you got to be on the lookout for some serious stuff. But you know what? In my reality, I'm glad to share with everyone that I'm, you know, doing great.
Yes,
And
that is, it's marvelous to hear that you're doing great and that you sound great and you know your brain is great. You're not having any cognitive problems.
mm,
And but also, I mean, what about are you taking any like vitamins or
B12,
herbs?
you know, not doing like a whole herbal regimen. And truthfully, I mean, you've witnessed the outpouring of amazing support that I experienced on Facebook. You know, people have
Yeah.
emailed me privately saying, hey, you know, about different diets, you know, holistic diets and herbs and such. And it's definitely on my plate to, like, you know, delve into that whole world. I had a couple of complications that came up. I had some swelling in my ankles and feet that, you know, my doctor was like concerned because that is a sign of heart problems. So I had to go get an echocardiogram and whatever. But once I'm back to smooth sailing, there's several different, like, more holistic approaches to life that include things like herbs and diet, and that I want to explore, which will just be good for my life in general.
Anyway,
And
yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
yeah,
Yeah. And you know, in going forward with this, it's you can, I guess, you know, you can say you can look at it you managed to make your way through this
I'm
experience
making it.
and
It's an
making,
active
yeah, well,
thing.
what you've just to even get to where you're at right now, I'm just
Yeah.
like I'm so amazed.
Mm.
uh it hasn't been that long, and so I'm
Yeah.
thinking, what are you going to do now with all this, because this has changed you forever, to
Yeah.
use something like this in a positive way.
Absolutely.
uh
Absolutely.
Everything that you do in life now is changed by this.
Oh,
How
for
are you
sure.
going to take this experience, apply it to what you do,
Hmm.
and how are you going to share it in a way where you can help others?
Oh,
Here's
yeah.
a backhanded gift in a way for
Hmm.
you
Oh,
to
yeah.
now explore other areas of your gifts, your personal
Hmm.
gifts, and how you can use them now to help other people on your journey. Now you're not done, as you've just
Right.
indicated.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Great question. Great question. I get it. I mean, no,
how
I
can we
mean,
blow this up and have it benefit? What's the
yeah, and for
benefit of
sure.
this? The upside?
Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, this is you know, not as much of a philosophical thing, it's just a practical thing. I mean, I thought, since I can't really perform, I mean, I am starting to play the instrument now, but not at performance level, you know, especially with thinking back a few weeks when I first got home, I was like, what can I do that is musical and personal that doesn't involve playing? And I've thought to have a series of interviews with I have so many guitarists who I love. You know, as much as I'm a player, like I'm just a fan of the instrument and the people who play it. You know, and I feel that there really should be this beautiful bond between us because it's just this like esoteric world that we all love and share. And so I wanted to have these interviews, or maybe they would be better to call them conversations, because it's not just Q&A. It just many of them are like people who are my friends who go back, years. I mean, whether it's like Pete Bernstein or Jonathan Kreisberg or, you know, more recent guy, Chico Pinedo. And then I could drop names who people have never heard, like Ufa Steen or Glenn Rexach or, there's so many. Like, I just want to have these conversations and to ask, like, all right, so adversity, are there, periods or experiences in your life that you view as being, you know, adverse, and like, how did you, whether it was a gig you had that, like, forced you to grow in a way that you might not have been comfortable with, or what maybe it was an experience, of a parent, passing away, and or some personal difficulty, whatever it is, talk about those experience, like, like what you're doing with me. I mean, it's very therapeutic. I mean, for me, and I think maybe for both of us to have this conversation. So, and
Yes.
certainly for people listening, right? Because who knows, what people are going through or listening, and maybe there's something in what we're saying that, says that humanizes them and humanizes us, and we all kind of feel like we can connect. So I want that to be part of those conversations for sure. I've definitely been like kind of putting out some fires at home and making sure everything's cool, but soon as things are a little settled, I mean, that's definitely something that I'm really going to enjoy doing. And I just want to, as I said, I mean, even like on social media, like, I don't say anything bad about anybody. I don't never say anything. I don't say anything bad about anything in life. I mean, if I go on social media, even if people are like different than me conceptually or whatever, I always look for what I like or what I connect with, what interests me about what they're doing. And I make a comment that supports that, because I feel like whatever, role negative criticism has played in all of our experiences being musicians, I ultimately feel that positive reinforcement is better. And
Yes.
in a way, positive, the problem with positive reinforcement is that, whoever receives the positive reinforcement, if you just take it as like a kind of espresso shot to your ego, it's going to wear off like an espresso and go away. But if you really see it as the means to create a space for you to take something you do well and do something more with it, then that's a really beneficial opportunity. And again, in these conversations, that is an aspiration of mine, to talk about what I really love about a person's playing, and maybe they can use it as an invitation to go deeper into their style and deeper into what they do. Yeah, and if I can help make that possible, that would really be good. And, to reach out beyond those conversations, in general, Nora, the reason why I went into music, other than to discover myself and try to create a self who, made me happy and feel fulfilled, and brought goodness and inspiration to others, I want people to see who I'm aspiring to become, and therefore I want to see people and help them aspire to who they want to become. That's my purpose. If you're in a winner take all game, you are really stupid to be in jazz music, because what does the winner, quote unquote, in jazz take? I mean, is it really that great? It's like, but like,
so that's a deep subject right there. Don't get into it.
Right, exactly. But I mean, the thing is like, yeah, for me, it's about, I'm going into this to be a good person and to meet other people who want to connect with who I'm trying to be in my life, and, shed light and inspiration and support. So yes, having had this experience, that just draws me more deeply to that, right? Because having to learn to walk again and to be able to hold my toothbrush and brush my teeth. I mean, when I was in the hospital, by the way, half of my mouth was paralyzed and my eye was stuck open. And then when I slept, I had to put like a thing over my eye, so like my eye wouldn't dry out at night, Yeah,
it's just freaking me out what you're saying.
I walk outside, I mean, and it's just, the world is amazing to me. It's not like I don't have my bad days and I still get stressed, but I'm a lot more aware of every moment, and I stop, and I'm already a friendly person, but sometimes when I'm like a true New Yorker, I'm walking down the street, I'm just like getting where I want to go, even with my cane. I'm like hurrying over to my neurologist appointment. I stop on the street and talk to people. I make sure to notice little details about people's life, and if I can contribute something sweet to someone who I see on the street, makes me happy, and maybe I'm making that person's day a little better. And it's similarly with my students. I've had some classes that were in motion when I got sick, so I'm not actively teaching new students yet. But, since the people who I've currently taught are very loyal and very interested in my story and what we're doing together, they've allowed me to kind of lead some of these sessions, without a guitar. And it's just been really amazing because, yeah, I mean, without an instrument, it just, I think there must be a period where every musician should try to be creative without their instrument, because it's really an opportunity to really get in touch more deeply with what's inside you, and being able to coach people from the perspective of like, hey, I just want everybody to know that anything and everything you play today is beautiful, because guess what? My hands feel like I just fell asleep on them. And when I hear guitar playing from any one of you, it just warms my heart, and touches me. So it's been pretty cool, to like feel that and have people experience themselves through, the perception that I'm offering. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna continue to build on that. But yes, I mean, I want to grow my teaching and get back to playing for sure. I mean, Bar Next Door is still defunct at the moment. I think they're just trying to lay down the foundation of the restaurant before they try to invite music 7 nights a week there. But I want to be ready for it when it comes for sure. And definitely investing a lot in loving my family now that I'm home and I'm not working. I mean, I'm not fully able to work. I mean, I'm definitely trying to make sure that my family gets a lot of QT. And I'm taking, this isn't just a holistic period for myself. I'm turning this into a holistic period for my family. And my wife, who's worked so hard, with me not being at my full capacity, and my kids, my older daughter seeing me in the state. And now, hey, what's really cool is like my daughter's seeing me really fight hard to get better. And I hope that it's been a, kind of, subtle lesson in facing adversity, right? Kids, what better way to, teach a kid that, when they fall down, that they can get back up, and then to have a situation like when I'm in, she sees me out there in the playground doing my PT exercises, playing my guitar. So yeah, I mean, I've one way that I'm trying to help people is like I've been, as you know, I've been posting on Facebook, and those weren't deliberate things that I was saying. I mean, I was just kind of blogging, saying what was on my mind, and just saying how grateful I was to like be where I was and to be on the mend. And apparently it's people have found those posts to be very uplifting. And so and when I can, I mean, if there's a post with 300 comments, I've tried to get back to all of them, because I just want every single person to feel the acknowledgement that I felt when they took time out of their day to not only say just get well soon, but hey, I really see what you're going through and it's amazing and you're inspiring. I wanted to comment to that person, or hey, I had a brain hemorrhage 5 years ago and I recovered from it. Oh my God, that is truly incredible. I mean, you must be an amazing person, and thank you so much for sharing your story and being here for me. It's been nice. It's been really cool, and I want to keep that up. I mean, it's just, we're here to heal each other. We're here to help each other, and yeah, I mean, I'm not fully sure, Nora, to answer your question, like how that will manifest, but I just kind of know the space I'm in, and as you said wisely, I'm forever changed. So, I'll certainly see where it leads.